Yes. And then
Okay, guys, good morning. Let's do another example today. So hopefully I can finish this off and give you your second in class. Okay, so if you can finish it, it's an easy one. Whatever we are doing today, kind of, plus maybe something here and there. So remember, as we progress, we cannot forget what we already did. That cannot happen. Okay, so it's not that, oh, that's done and finished. So anybody who submitted assignment 1 last week by 12 midnight, I'll mark it today. Okay, so whoever I marked, that was fine. I did mark a few, I remember. But whoever was left, but if it was on Blackboard by midnight the other day and you were present in class, I already took attendance, I'll mark that today. I'll try. So the aim is, we are going to learn a few more controls today, right? We'll do radio buttons, we'll do group boxes, check boxes, picture boxes. So more controls today. And definitely when you do more controls, you do more coding, right? So we'll learn how to code more today. And that's how it will go on. Week after week, we'll add more stuff, we'll add more controls, and we'll add more coding till we kind of come to midweek, and then we'll kind of switch to OOPS and database and so on. However it works. Hopefully I can push you a little. If you can finish off your second in class, you're kind of an hour, made up an hour from what you lost the first week. So that's my aim today. So we'll again, as always, if you have 2015 on your laptops, we'll start a new project. Also, I've seen a few views, but you know whatever I'm doing in class is being recorded. And to kind of keep it separate and neat, I've put it in a playlist. So I'll put the playlist URL today on Blackboard so that you can search for me. You can always go and look at the other sections notes also. I think I forgot once to record it for your class. So you can always go and look. So they have the same, I'll put both URLs on Blackboard so that you can go and look at whatever you want. So if you have missed a class or if you've forgotten something and you would like to go back, it's all being recorded. So it's live and God knows how it sounds and what mistakes are made, but whatever it is, at least it's there. Right? Last week, I forgot to shut it off. And then throughout Wednesday, I recorded everything. We had that drill and that video, everything got recorded. So there could be some extra stuff there. It's too much of time to go and edit it. So I'll let it go. I'm sure you know where to pause and where to fast forward and where to rewind. Okay, so I'll leave that to you. Okay. Okay, so as I said, more controls today and more coding, of course. And also learn the load method. How you can put code in the load method when the form loads and so on. Okay, so if you would like to do it with me, sure. We'll start a new project. So we are doing Windows and Windows Forms application. I'll go and put it on your Tuesday section for myself. That's not for you at all. Please remember to change. Please remember to change the name of your project at day 1. Yes. Yeah. Okay. I didn't realize we had 2. I did that one, I forgot this one. Sorry about that, thanks. Okay, so what are we doing? I've kind of lost track of lessons. It's just better to maybe, I don't know. I think this is your lesson 2. You've only done one example with me, right? And everything is going on GitHub now. So I'm not putting anything on Blackboard. If I would like you to go to GitHub and download all the material, but if you still are not so comfortable with it, please let me know and I'll put it on Blackboard also when I'm done and finished. With GitHub, the advantage is as I do it in class, if I remember to, you can always remind me, can you put your changes on GitHub? And I can do that while I'm teaching. It just takes less than a minute. And that way you can pick it up anytime during the class. When I finish, I'll put it on Blackboard, which is kind of waiting till I'm done. So whatever works for you. Okay, so we are working on lesson 2. This is Tuesday. And we are working with the fitness center today. So if that helps you, how to look it up on GitHub. So it's called, and again, if you like, I can say Comp1004, maybe that will help. That will make your search a little easy. Oh, okay. Exceeds the maximum. Okay. Maybe then remove this. What else? I want to keep the Tuesday so that you can recognize yourself. Okay. So that's how I'm trying to. I keep forgetting. I'll put it so you have the code. So you know that's 1004. I can put rad if you like. Lesson 2 is just your second example. I can call it example 2 or week 4, whatever works for you. And Tuesday, maybe you know what? It will be just better because I'm going to lose count of lessons very quickly. Weeks we still can always check up. So let's do it this way. So this will go on GitHub. I'm going to create a directory for myself and I would like you to do that too. And I've said create a new Git repository. So it will go on GitHub as I do it. If I make changes and put it. Okay, so once you are ready, okay, so I'll need something like, I mean, we can always change the size just to give you an idea. Something like this, I think should be okay for today. Kind of. Okay. Let me see if I'm. Okay, looks like maybe when I start doing it, then it will ask me. Okay, so the normal that we do, please see that you change the title of the form. This is just about a fitness center today. You will log in, you will learn how to log in, like it's not a big deal. We are not doing any checking. Next week onwards, we'll start our control structures, if and all that. So that way we'll know how to validate our input. Remember, input, garbage in, garbage out. So your first step should be that you validate your input before you start processing. Till now, we've been okay because last week all we were doing was hello world. So that was not a big deal. There was no input at all. Today, I'm kind of just ignoring it because there is a lot to do. But next week onwards, I'll start using my control structures, my ifs and my switches, and then do data validation a week after that, right? So you will learn. You have to. I mean, as I said, otherwise it's useless. So today it's not a big deal. Again, it's only text data, but I could always check that you have provided the text data. We can do that. Okay, so the first thing that you always do is change the name of the form here. So let's change it. Let's rename it. And again, keeping with what I am doing as conventions, I'm going FRM. In an example today in your second in-class assignment, I found an old one and then I kind of used the old convention and I've given it to you so that you can see that there are various conventions. I'm sticking to this convention just because I'm using that book and that uses it. Okay, so I start with FRM and again, you could give it whatever you like. I'll just go fitness. You can call it promotions because it's basically for promotions. Let's go promotions. Just a shorter name. So that's your first job. Please remember to change it here. Don't remove the extension .cs, and if it says everywhere, say yes. So if you start right and you keep doing things as they're required, then you don't have to worry a lot. And you know what? It's not too friendly when you try to change names afterwards. So just do it. Okay, so let's start here. We'll start with the title. And we'll call it promotions. You don't have to, but as I said, I'm trying to show what are the promotions available at this fitness center. A few things that you will do, you will always start at center screen for now. You can always start at center parent. Parent when you are dealing with, more than one forms, then your parent is the form that called the other form. So the parent form is the form that calls a child form. So if you want, put me in the center of the parent, then you can do it as center parent. That's 2. We will not allow the user to change the size of the form for obvious reasons. We know that it starts to look untidy. So we'll make the maximize box as false. Minimize is fine. And lastly, but important again, we'll change the form border style to fixed single or fixed 3D, whatever you like. Fixed dialog also does it. It's just a thick border. So do these 4 things straight away. Change the name of the form, which is your class name. Keep in mind, class names, form 1 make no sense. Please give good names. 2, change the title, which is the text property of your form. Please change the start position, which is the start position property, and change it to center screen. Please set maximize box to false, which means you cannot maximize the form. And then change the form border style to fixed 3D, whatever you like, but fixed instead of sizable, so that the user cannot change the size of the form. This just makes its appearance neat and clean, and whatever you've drawn on the form looks exactly like you've drawn it. So those are the uses, and they will always have marks. Okay, these are under the common instructions. So don't forget, even if I don't mention it, Common instructions are always to be followed. In all assignments, exams, tests, whatever, in-class assignments, take-home assignments. So please keep this in mind. I'll try to remind you, but you know what? I may forget to. But it's on Blackboard. It's already on Blackboard, and it says common instructions for everything. Okay, so let's start. So as I said, today we'll do a few new things. So we'll learn how to do a group box, for example. And a group box is just a container, right? It's a container. Container means something that can contain other controls. We'll try to use text boxes, which we haven't done before. We'll use a simple text box, a mass text box, a rich text box, and so on, like whatever. Okay, so let's start. We need a heading. We always give a form a heading. I always like to. So one for the heading, one for your name. You can put your name on the right-hand side. And just to make it a little more visible, please change, if you would like to, I just change it to bold italics is all I do. It kind of stands out, right? A little. But with the heading, definitely I want you to create a heading that looks like a heading. The size of the heading should always be more than the rest of the heading of the other subheadings or labels or whatever you're using on your form, right? So I'm going to call it Look Sharp Fitness Center. Oh, wrong place. Oops. Didn't realize. Okay, so since I'm here, I'll just do it then. I know I'll need something like a 14 size and a bold, so I'll just do it. And then we'll make its auto size property as false, just because we'll give it our own size. If you don't want to, that's perfectly fine. That way, then you can change it, right? I mean, it doesn't matter if you, for us, at right now with labels, it's not so important with headings. Okay, so it's called Look Sharp Fitness Center. Okay, so definitely we'll have to increase the size. Oh, the fitness center is still missing. There it is. So please see, whatever you give me, I should be able to read it, right? So if your text boxes are small for input or output, or if I can't see your labels, I can't see your full name, it's off the screen. That's taking off marks in your interface, because an interface will always have marks. So to kind of, you could try, but if you would like, it's just easy to center it horizontally. So just center it horizontally, right? You could try. As I said, it's up to you if you want to. I think we'll need a little more space. I mean, things can always be done afterwards, but it's why do it double? Right, there it is. So it does look like a heading. So some of you, when I was looking around last week, you didn't bother to change its font or center it and so on. If it doesn't look like a heading, it makes no sense. Okay, now just so, because I don't know whether you downloaded it, but because I have, and again, this is just so that you know about it. Where are my, oops, have I lost my power pack? Can be. I can't see it. Print, where did my power pack go? Of all the things to happen. Okay, I'll have to put it back again. That is strange. I don't remember removing it or anything. That's strange. It shouldn't vanish away by itself.
Oh, don't those? Oh no, you're using a laptop.
No, yeah, I know exactly. I just, yeah, but yeah, this is my laptop, so things can't vanish on me, right? But I don't see my power packs. That is strange. Anyway, it's not a big deal, but I wouldn't have removed it. Or maybe I was showing it to a student and, okay, very quickly I'll do it. Okay, so I need a line shape. Yeah, they're not here. Really strange. And then let's add, what was the other one called? Print form, right? Must be me, of course. There's no magic ever in this world with computers. Okay, so all I was trying to show you that you could take a line shape and kind of put it here. And then, I mean, I'm not too good at drawing straight lines, but that doesn't look bad there. So you could use these line shapes. They are rectangular shapes. There is oval and so on. So if you don't have it, just add that item. If you only have print form, just add a line shape. This is just for your knowledge. Maybe after a week or so, I'll stop using them. But when we did not have this line shapes, I remember we used to use a label to draw a line. So you could use a label and you could make it, I mean, give it a border and make it of size, whatever you want, 1 pixels or 2 pixels to make it look like a line. So if you don't have power packs, you could still draw lines. That's how I remember doing that. Long back, of course, but that's how I remember doing it. Okay, so that's a line shape, just so that you know. You have rectangle, you have oval, and so on. These are just some additional options. Okay, so I have made some changes. When I do a little more, then I'll put it on GitHub. There's not much I've done. So please see that you always have a heading and you have your name on the right-hand side corner. Okay, so let's start. Take a few labels for our input today. So let's go to, you could take all Windows forms if you like. So I'm just going to kind of move them here. I think I should be good here. So this label is called member ID. No. At the wrong place again. Okay, so we'll change its text. I'm calling it member ID. Shorthand key is I. Remember your shorthand keys, you just put an ampersand in front of it. Right, again, with your subheadings, this is a subheading, you could maybe give it a different, just bold a little. You could, if you like. And this one I'm going to call name. And N is the shorthand key. Right, so I'm basically, again, you could right align it, you could left align it, however you like, whatever it is, but neat. I could align it towards the left if I like, I could align it towards the right if I like. Whatever, all you have to do is just move it and align it like this, right? So whatever you like, it doesn't matter. It should be neat. That's the main thing. It should be neat. So I've just added 2 labels. Does it help like this? No, it doesn't. Okay. Is it too bad? No, maybe you're okay. Let's take 2 text boxes now. So one text box, a simple text box, and let's place it in front of name. So again, you can align it using the blue line. You can align it using the pink line. The pink line will align data. So I'm asking the member's name here. So maybe that's good enough. And again, if you want to give it a bigger size, go ahead and move your labels on the left and give it a bigger size. So that's a text box now, right? A text box is used for input. If you like, you can also use it for output, and I'll show you how to use it for output today. Instead of labels, you just have to take care that the user is not allowed to put anything into the text box. So we change its read-only property. That's what you do. Okay, since I will be needing this text box definitely in my code, we'll change its name. So keeping with again my conventions, I'm going to call it text name. I think that's what it is called. The short format text box is text name. I could be wrong, but I think I'm okay, right? These shorthand names are new to me also. I have to look up the MSDN site to find out what they're called. Now for the member ID, there is another text box here called masked text box. Please pick up that one. As the name suggests, a masked text box allows you to mask your input. Mask means control your input. For example, so if you go to its mask property, notice there is a small arrow here also. If you see a small arrow with your mask text box, you can click on that if you like and go set mask, or there is the mask property right here in your properties. You can even go there. So I'm going to change the mask property. Look what the mask means. What it does is it allows you to set a kind of a filter on your text box. So for example, if I choose numeric 5 digits, I am saying the user can enter 5 numeric digits. So there are a few like phone number, no area code, short date, and so on. But of course, you can make your own, create your own using custom. The custom requires a little more knowledge of regular expressions, which is not very easy and 5-minute job. So again, if you're interested, go ahead and read about it. And if you want to discuss it with me, come and see me in my office hours, right? But in class, I'll stick to this. So I'm saying, please mask it and give it a 5-digit numeric. So again, you could do it using this arrow. It has a name. The arrows are called quick something, or you could go to the mask property here. Let's change its name also. And the mask text box is short form is Okay, so let's try to Google for short control names, C#. So somewhere on your MSDN site, object naming conventions may be here. There. So let's see. I may not even get it. I wasn't able to get one of them, I remember. LMNO. I don't see a mass text box. So as I said, I have to look it up too because I don't know all of them myself. See, text box is TXT. So there are a few that are there. And then, for example, the container database is DB and so on. So they give you some, but I don't remember I found the mass text box and I don't see it. So whatever 3-letter you like, anything that kind of looks okay. So what do you think? Must MSK maybe, except that there is no text in it. I don't know. It's a 3-lettered one. Okay, so let's go MSK. I mean, as I said, if you don't find it, then it should be somewhere. But anyway, and this is your member ID. So we'll call it masked member ID. Please remember the rules are Pascal naming convention, right? For all your controls, the rules are Pascal naming convention. This three-lettered prefix that I put doesn't come into that naming. The naming is Pascal case. So notice how each word starts with the capital letter. So the 3-lettered, if I wasn't using it, I would have put it at the end and I would have said member ID masked text box, the whole thing. Okay, so that's what I would do. And I've done it. I've done it in my assignment in class 2 to give you an idea of how it will work. Okay, so there's mask text box. Please remember to give it a name because I'm going to need it. For now, I won't do anything in anything, no other property, I won't set it, but I'll definitely change its size so that it exactly looks like 5. It only picks up. I mean, you could make it as big as you want, but it will look untidy. Because I'm restricting it to 5 numeric digit input, it will look neater this way. Right? So again, UI, neat and clean, easy to handle. Make a user-friendly UI. And that will always carry marks because you're doing 2 parts, right? So there it is. So again, labels up to you if you want to keep them right aligned or left aligned. We've used a normal text box and a mass text box. Okay, yes.
Yeah, I think there's a bug with the line. I think it's because it's a little bit old, like the line drawing tool or the line widget. It doesn't render properly on Windows 10.
Oh, on Windows 10?
Or with higher resolution. Probably one of those. Is
something, right? And as I said, it's not very important, but it's just that you should know about it, okay? And you know what? Maybe I'll stop even using it. Anyway, I just thought it would be, you would know. And since I'm not using Windows 10, I'm not sure of it. But when I looked it up, it said it would work on 7, 8, and 10. But who knows unless you use it. So the file I've given you should work. But you were right. Maybe try your resolution. Something was happening last week with, and you have Windows 10 too?
Yeah, but I also have a high resolution though, which I think is the problem.
Yeah, I think that could be the problem. Yeah, so there was some problem with high resolution also. I can't control my resolution here just because I'm linked to the projector and then I can't do nothing. But otherwise I'm okay, but I'm not even using Windows 10. I'm still sticking to what the college uses. Okay, now let's go and look at containers. So open up your containers and please choose a group box. I'm just trying to do it in a sequence, then I won't have to do a lot with my tab. But anyway, so here is a group box. As the name suggests, it is a box and it will allow you to group components. Now, grouping becomes very important, especially when you're using something like, say, radio buttons. How do radio buttons work? If you put them in a group, you can only check, you can only select one of them. Okay, so I've used a group box here. We will change its name and we'll call it, just because we know we just checked it up, it is called GRP for group box, and we'll say department. It will have the department names. Okay, I'm calling it GRP department. The GRP is the short form for group. Okay, now I would like to change its text. You could remove it completely if you like, but it's always a good idea. It's always a good idea to give it a name that will make sense. So there, that's how it will look like. That's what has happened with text. Okay. It just puts it as a title. Okay, now inside, you could do this necessarily anywhere in the form, but then you will have to move it. So it's just better that inside the group box, so select it and get 5 radio buttons into the group box. So you have a control called radio button and there it is. Just get 5 of them, and then we'll kind of place them, and then we'll try our best to place them as we think they look fine, and then we can always use the okay, there. Of course, they are not. So you can always do this. Remember from last week, I said that you could select more than one controls at a time and say, make vertical spacing equal. There. Right, so select them all at a time, the radio buttons, and say, make vertical spacing equal. So they look neat. Okay, so let's start. I'm going to change their text first, then it is easy to change their names. Then you don't have to basically kind of squint your eyes to see what I'm writing. I'm sure I can change the font somewhere. I'll look it up. I'm going to put their names in front of it, and that way when we name them, we'll be fine. So hopefully this is not bad. So I'm going to give text first, since I'm at that property. So I'm using shorthand keys. All I have to do for shorthand access keys is just put an and in front of the letter I want to be the. So that's membership. This is juice bar. So by default, if you don't change it, whatever the property you were on last gets changed. Just select it and kind of go ahead. Equipment. And lastly, clothing. If you all have it, then we'll start naming them. Okay, now let's start naming them just because you have it. Let's see if there is something for radio button. I think it is an RDO, but I could be wrong. Picture box is pick. Again, I don't see anything for radio button. Now that's not good, right? Like they should give us everything. I mean, how are we supposed to kind of try and find them? And these are so common. Radio button is so common. Like I don't see it in the R's at all.
There's a section if you scroll down.
Yeah, but those are groups.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure it's RAD. Like I've done VB and we did.
VB was RAD? Okay, so if it is VB was RAD, then most probably it is RAD, which makes more sense in a sense, RAD for radio, but thanks. So we'll give that a go. Since we didn't find it at the MSD inside and it sounds okay. We'll go with RAD for radio button, right? And definitely VB kind of conventions also should follow here. It's the same suite, right? Okay, so let's call it, where were we? Okay, so whatever I have named it is whatever I'm calling it. So I'm going to call it RAD clothing, RAD equipment, RAD juice bar, RAD membership, RAD personal training. So the equipment / accessories, I'll just call it equipment. So whatever you call it, you remember your names because we will need it in programming. So that's what I'm calling it. Therefore, I gave them the text so that then you don't have to bother about. So just kind of go RAD and then, oh, I can do it from there. Okay, equipment. Juice bar, RAD juice bar, just because it's not a big name. And again, you shouldn't be lazy because of IntelliSense. I could have even said equipment. I can't use a / in a name, but I could have said equipment. Is underscore allowed? We can double check. So please don't forget your conventions. Conventions will always have marks. And again, I leave it to you if you would like to go some other way, and the some other way is putting the name after the complete name. You can do that, but be consistent. If you like, I'm not sure. I'm sure / won't be allowed, but maybe underscore will be. Let's see if we get an error. It just says indicates the name. I don't know. We can try. I think because usually underscores are never a problem. The / definitely could be a problem. Okay. So that's radio buttons, right? So I've just called them what I have, and I've called it RAD equipment accessories. Again, Pascal case convention, 3-lettered control name at the beginning. So I've just prefixed it. Okay, so that's ready. So you've now seen a picture box, a group box, and some radio buttons. Okay, let's try to do a little more. Please pick up a rich text box now outside. I mean, I'm not in the group box anymore. I mean, it doesn't matter where you pick it up, but I don't need it inside. Pick it up and notice the difference between, please notice the difference between a normal text box and a rich text box. One, it is by default multi-line. You could make your text box also multi-line, but this is by default multi-line, more than one line. And two, it is rich in the sense you could put any kind of formatting inside it. That's why it's called rich text box. So you could type something in Word, maybe a small message or whatever you want, or text, something that you want to show, and you can just copy and paste here. So you can use formatted data inside this rich text box, which you cannot in a simple text box. So to kind of, again, keep it the same symmetrical shape and size, I don't need that much. So that's what I need. This will just show you a welcome message. That's what it is for. And again, the aim is just so that you know that they're available. The rich text box was RTF. Okay, it's the same kind of word convention. Okay, so let's call it, I don't know, welcome maybe. I'll just call it RTF welcome because a welcome message will appear in it. Don't forget, anything that needs to be programmed, any control that you are going to use in code, please see that they have proper names. With labels, it doesn't matter. I didn't change the name of this label. Why would I? Doesn't make sense. Of this label doesn't make sense. So I'm not even bothered about labels that don't matter. But definitely wherever it matters, please see that you change names. So this one doesn't matter. This one doesn't matter. You know what? Now that I've said it, I have to remove this. So let's do it. I'll need it in my code today. Please call it label name. I will need to make it invisible. So if you have to make a control invisible, you need its name. So I'm calling it label name, and I'm calling it label member ID. Just realized it. Okay. So definitely nothing to do with my name Anju Chawla, because I'm not going to ever make it invisible or do anything with it or with this one. But these I need today. I just remembered, so we definitely need them. So change their names. So I've changed everything, right? The department group box is called group department. Clothing, equipment, accessories, juice bar, membership, personal training. Label name, a text name, label member ID, masked. If you find it, let me know if one of you finds it. And this is the rich text box. And also now I would like you to create another text box. And before we change, if I only want to show something in this box, but not let the user enter anything, there is a property called read only property. Please see that you change it to true, right? So it is basically saying you can only read from this box. So it's like a label. So you'll say, any advantage over a label? Yeah, a few things. There are a few methods that you can do, like dot clear. Two, you don't have to draw a border or anything. You don't have to make auto size as false and so on. So it's kind of a handy label. That's what it is. And definitely a label cannot have any formatting in it, which we can do in a text box. Okay, so that's how you will change its read only property. And you will see when you say read only true, you won't be able to enter anything into it. Also, now please take another normal text box, kind of bring it just below here, change its size to look symmetrical, and call it the promotion text box. And also change its read only property to true. So again, it's a text box, so txt, and we'll call it promotions. I'm going to put the promotion in this text box. So you could have used a label, nothing wrong at all, just to show you that there is another way of doing it. So I'm calling it text promotion or promotions, whatever you would like to call it. And also I'm going to change its read only property to true for the same reason. The user will not be able to enter anything into. Do you want to see what I mean by it? Let's do an F5. And you will see how these two are gray. Oh, this doesn't, maybe I forgot to do a read only true. No, they are grayed out. See, I can't enter. I can enter something here. I can definitely enter a number here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but only 5 of them, no more than 5. But I can't enter anything in these texts. Oh, so I'll make it stop property also as false. I can't. That's what the read only property is for your information. Okay, so that's how it looks right now. Okay, there it is, right? Now, let's create another one. Just give it a little more space here. And now get a picture box. And get your picture box somewhere below your department. Again, try to should be okay. Maybe a little more. We'll try to put a picture of the particular department that you choose here in this picture box. Okay, that's what we will do. Okay, and a checkbox now. So get a checkbox and try to put it somewhere. I don't know if it will look good, kind of, maybe. Let's align it this way only, and let's make its property image visible. V, the shorthand key. There. With a checkbox, you can put the text either on the right of the checkbox or on the left of the checkbox. It looks fine here, but the property is called, I think, right to left. The property is called right to left. There it is, right to left. So notice the difference. If I say right to left, yes. Notice how the image visible text has gone to the left of the text box. If I say keep it no, then it comes to the right, whatever you like. This looks much better. Sometimes you may need to put it on the other side, but that's the property, right to left. Okay, so that's a checkbox. And lastly, but not the least, are buttons. Okay, so let's take 1, 2, 3, 4 buttons, and we'll try to place them, align it here, bottom and here, and then align it here. Or maybe on the left-hand side, alignment will be better. I think it will look better on the... Just so that I have all of them equally, vertical spacing equal. Okay, so let's start. Looks like they're small, right? So if you want, it's just better to increase their size together. I mean, you don't have to, but I think they will be a little small. What is my maximum? Sign is in my maximum. And again, it's a good idea to kind of size them together. Then you don't have to keep looking, oh, what's the size? So whenever you can work with controls together, do it. So I chose all 4 of them. I kind of gave them a bigger width because I know I'll put something on it. And I also kind of increase them in their height. With me, everybody? Okay, so let's start doing it now. The text on the buttons. And of course, their name, whatever you like. So I'm going to first change the text so that then you don't have to kind of... And again, the print is just printing the form. You can say print form if you like. I was able to find how to change the size of the code, but I was not able to find how to change the size of the... Okay, so that's what is on it. And we'll name it the same way. So button exit. Of course, no shorthand keys in the names, guys, right? The shorthand, the and is only for the text. So button exit, button clear, button print, button sign in is what I'm calling them. Whatever you call them, it's up to you. When you code with me, then please remember that's what you called them. And BTN is the short form for button. You're okay with that one? Okay, so we are good. Right, so our buttons are ready. Please remember, the aim is to create a clean interface. You could do a better job than this. I'm not saying this is the best job, but notice how everything looks aligned. No spelling mistakes, nothing too big or too small, like that kind of thing. So I could, maybe you don't like my interfaces, and that's perfectly fine. But again, I'm looking for neat and clean interfaces from you, right? And of course, user-friendly. So in a minute, I'm going to say what user-friendly is. So it looks okay, right? Nothing as if it's out of place or whatever. Now, tab orders, right? Let's look how it is dancing around. Mine won't be too bad because when I pick things, I know the sequence, but this is how my tab is working. So I'm going from name to member ID, to department, won't go to text boxes that are read only, to, where did it go? Oh, to the text box. So that means I got that afterwards. So this tab stop I have to remove. This one, then it's going to the checkbox, then to the buttons. And that's it. So not too bad, right? But of course, not too bad doesn't mean, and here are all my shorthand keys. So they're all fine. Now keep in mind, did we do it last week? No, we did not, but I want to show you something maybe. If I had started with this as my first tab order, clothing would have been checked by default. That's its nature. That's how it works. So try to avoid starting your tab with a radio button, because then by default it gets checked, and no amount of code will make it unchecked. It just keeps checked. It's a bug, right? So even if I say uncheck it in my load, it just doesn't work. So I've given up, right? It is a bug, and that's why we just ignore it. Okay, so now how to set the tab order? Let's see a few things before I go forward. Now this text box, I don't want tab to stop on it absolutely. So please change its tab stop property to false. Does it make sense? Text boxes will have a tab stop property. Labels won't. You'll say if they don't, then what's the use of these labels and these shorthand keys? In a minute, I'll tell you. Take your second text box, also set its tab stop property to false. So we don't want the tab to stop on these at all. With labels, there is no tab stop property, so we don't have to bother. But then what is the use of these labels? Why did I have a shorthand key if I'm not going, if I'm not going to use it, I'll tell you in a minute. Now, please also notice there is a tab index property with all these. See, there is a tab index property. This has 3, this has 5, this has whatever, 4, and so on. Now, you could, if you like, change it. You'll say, I want to go from here to here to here to here, and you could do it right away. But an easy way of doing it is select your form, go to view, and maybe I already told you last week, and go to tab order. And now you can start setting it. So now, the use of a label with a shorthand key next to a text box is this. I'll start with this one. I'll make this a 0, this a 1. If the tab index of a text box follows immediately after the tab index of a label, 0, 1, right? Automatically, when you do a Alt N, the tab will jump to your text box. That's the use of making that N as the shorthand key. So whenever you want to associate a label with a text box and use the shorthand key, then ensure, and this is the best way, the tab index of the text box should be greater than the tab index of the label. I just make it immediately after. Then if I have to do it with another label, I don't have to worry about it. So, oops. So let's start. Oh, messed up. Okay, let's say we'll have to start again. It does go a little messing up, does happen. Okay, so 0 and a 1 and a 2 and a 3. So it should be greater. The rule is greater. But why am I going immediately after? Because then if I have more than one label text kind of combination, then I don't have to worry about it. So I always do this. I just go next, right? I could have said 0, 2, but then with the other label, I couldn't have given 2 here. I would have to do something like 3 and 4 or 3, 5. So why even bother? So do this. To associate a label to work, when I say to work, it's shorthand or keyboard access key to work with the text box. The tab index of the text box should immediately, we'll say immediately, should be greater than the tab index of the label. And that's exactly what I've done. I've said a 0, a 1, a 2, and a 3, right? After this, after the user has signed in, if you like, you can make sign in as your 4th. You can say, oh, after this, when I tab, I want to go to sign in. So let's make that as a 3 or a 4, sorry. So the user will enter a name, the user will enter a member ID, and then when you tab, it will go to sign in. Once you do a sign in, then you will select a department. So that's a 5. Okay, you will select a department. And then if you like, you can select the image. So I'm trying to see how the user should be going. So the user gives in a name, the user gives it a member ID, the user does a sign in. After the sign in, he or she can choose a department. And if he or she would like to see the image of the department, this is what they have to choose. So that's the 6. And then you can do whatever you like. You can do a clear if you want. maybe we'll just change this. I'll move the clear button top, okay? And then we'll move the 7 and an 8 and a 9. So I'll just move it. I'll move clear above the print because print and exit are one kind of function and clear is clearing the form. So I'll keep it with sign in. And now you don't have to change the rest, but notice how there is a 0 here and a 0 here. So it will clash. And there is a 3 here for your line. So where were we at? 9. So now just do whatever you like, a 10 and an 11 and a 12. Please ensure that no 2, and you can do a 13 and a 14, but tab stop property is false. So please ensure that no 2 controls have the same tab index. Otherwise, the system will be confused and God knows which tabs will have occurred. So notice how now my form will work. I'll go from name to member ID to sign in to department to image visible to clear, print, exit. That's my sequence. So it's a little haphazard, but that's what I want to do on the form. Usually the rule is top to bottom, left to right. Usually that's the rule, but I don't want to start with department. I want to start with name. You could have switched it. Your names and member IDs could have come on the left-hand side and your departments could have gone to the right-hand side. Nothing stops you from doing it. Nothing. I just made it this way, so I'm doing it this way. So please see that the tab orders are set properly, and this is the easiest way to do it. You can see it, and you can just do it with a click of a mouse instead of going to the tab index property. Once you're satisfied that things are okay, come back, do an edit again, and a view again, and again select tab order. You're back to normal. The only thing I'm changing is this. I want the print, and I've already kind of taken care in my, it looks okay, but you never know. So I'll again select it and say, make vertical spacing equal. There it is. I just changed the sequence because it just made more sense to do clear before the print. I mean, you could do anything. It depends on you. I just thought so. Maybe you say, oh, I'll print it first and then I'll clear it. Sure. Whatever you like. It's not a big deal at all. Again, change their position, go to view, change the tab order and do it that way. If you say that's what I want to do. It's up to you. Okay? Okay, so this is how the form looks now. So give it a go. And let's check our tab orders and our alt keys. Okay, so try an alt I, see where will it jump to the mass text box. Do an alt N, see where it jumps. So this should always work on your forms. The rest automatically work. The radio buttons, the buttons, everything works automatically. Check boxes, they all work automatically. I don't have to do anything about them. But with a label and a text box, you have to ensure to make it work. The tab index of text box should be greater than the tab index of the label. That's the rule. If you don't do it, it won't jump to the right place. So notice how I did of course you didn't notice what's happening on my keyboard, but I did an alt V and automatically it checked the image visible. I do an alt C and it checks the clothing. But to come to name, it's not coming by magic. I had to take care of it in my tab order. For the rest, it's all automatic. They all work automatically. But here you have to be careful. So again, if you don't do it, you will lose marks. Okay, so let's start. Here is where we were. Now let's check how it is going. From here to your sign in, to your department, to the image visible, and then I think it was clear, and then print, and then exit. And it looks fine. No haphazard kind of logical sequence. My logical sequence could be different from yours, but I think we all agree on what we are trying to do. Because this is what I want to do. A user should be able to sign in. Once he or she signs in, they should be able to choose the department. If they want to see the image, they should say image visible. They could clear it if they want, or maybe print it, whatever. And in that case, you'll say, shouldn't we put print before clear? Sure. Whatever, as I said, it's just how you see it. And then maybe print it and then maybe clear the form for the next person. But a little different. I want the department to show up, or this image visible not to show up when the form loads. I don't want them to see. All the users would be shown is these two text boxes and the sign in and these buttons. The rest I don't want to show to the user. And let's see how we can do that. Let's see how we can do that. So there is a property called visible. You'll say why? Because unless a user signs in, they should not be able to choose a department at all or an image visible. Only if the login is successful do they have an option of looking at all this. So when the form starts, I don't want any of these to be even visible, or maybe grayed out, something like that. So I'll show you both. Then you can choose whatever in the assignment or whatever you do. So I'll show you how to disable something, And I'll also show you how to make something invisible. Okay, both. I'll show you both. So now since we want to do something on loading the form and the form loads up, we'll see how to work with the load procedure. So this is how the form is looking right now. The maximize, did I say maximize was false? Oh, see how untidy it looks. So we definitely have to take care of that. There are no resize handles, so that's okay. If you want, there is a picture box here, but the picture box is not visible because it doesn't have a border. You could give it a border if you like. So my maximize is not fine. Let's look at the maximize property. It says, oh, I made the minimize as false instead of maximize. That's why. Where are you, maximize? There you are. Wrong property. Wrong property won't work. So I wasn't able to minimize it. That was how, and I never checked it even. So see that you have the right property. My bad. Okay. Now, I want to show some images here, right? Some pictures here. Since you're on your laptops, go and get it from the internet. I already have them stored, so I'll use it. Now, where do you put these images so that you can make these images appear in your picture box? So a picture box has an image property, and the image property says this is the image that will occur in the picture box. But before you do that, you have to add it to your project. And how do you add it is like this. Go to project, go to its properties, and go to resources. And then I want to add a resource, and I want to add an existing file. You could do a new image if you're a good artist, go and draw images. I'm not doing that, right? So I'm going to use an existing file. So since I have the files with me, I'm just choosing them. You can pick them anywhere from internet. So you need a picture that will show something like a clothing, equipment, juice bar, personal training, something like that, anything that works. So since you're on your own laptops, I can give it to you, but this is what I already have. So I'm going to pick it up. I think I have them somewhere because I've done it with the other section. I have it somewhere. Oh, there it is. I have them. So I have these pictures already. I'm getting a clothing one. So that's what my clothing one looks like. Okay. I'm getting a equipment one. And I've called them this way so that it's easy when I use them. I have a juice bar. I have a member for the membership. And I have, there's a fifth one, training. So add 5 images to your resources folder, and the resources folder can be found under the project properties. Pick up anything from the web. Don't try to bring too big pictures. Too big will not fit. Too small, we'll have to stretch. So if whatever you get, I exactly knew the size I wanted, so I'm okay. But if you are getting and of course you'll get all kind of sizes, so don't get too big. Try to get something of the size I have. But if not, we can always stretch it. So we can always change the mode. So there are my resources. So please see that you have 5 images in your resources folder for your project. You have to put it here because if you're going to give your project to somebody, you don't expect them to get images for you. So therefore, everything is in the same directory. So if you give it to me, they're there. I don't have to worry about it. So once you do that, you can close that if you like. And the uses, I'll show it here. And just to be on the safe side, I'm okay, but maybe you are not. Take your picture box and there is a property called size mode. There it is. You can say normal or you can say stretch image. Stretch image usually takes your image and just stretches it, accommodates it in the picture box. That's what stretch image is, as long as it is okay. It's not a very big size. The big size doesn't work properly. Right? I don't know. I've always chosen size according to my picture boxes. Right? So that's the size mode. If you want to start with an image, there is an image property here. See, there is an image property. And if you want, you can choose any of these to start with. But I don't want to start with anything because the user has to choose one of the options and then I want to show the image. So notice how your properties have come here. Oh, sorry, your images have come under the resources.rex folder. So if I wanted to show an image, this is just so that you know how to show an image in a picture box. You change its image property. Okay, you will need it in your in-class too. So all you do is go to its image property, you will see an ellipse there, select it, and here select whatever you want. So I would say put it in your properties folder and not use a local resource, because a local resource will work for you, but when your project comes to me, it will look for a C colon whatever on your laptop, and that won't work. Right? That won't work. So don't check local resource. Put it in your resources folder. Put it here. Okay. And I'll cancel it because I don't want to show it. But if I did, suppose I did this. So this is how it starts. This is how the form starts when it's loaded. Okay. So I'll change it because I don't want any to start with. Okay. So my images are ready, right? Images are ready. The form looks okay. The GUI is fine. The user interface is neat enough. And now all I have to do is, and again, if it looks odd, change whatever you like. Now I want to start my coding. And before I start my coding, let me put this. Let's go to changes. I don't know. I say save every time. And okay, on GitHub. Email address. Every time I'll say save, but it comes back to its own. Georgian College, Anju Chawla. Okay. Okay, so where were we? It always takes me a little time to, so there are the changes. All I have to do is sync first, right? Sync. Okay, in the sync, I have to publish to GitHub. That looks okay. Publish. And after, I think after that you do a sync, right? You first publish. Anything else I need to do? No, my changes haven't gone. Maybe sync now. And push. Oops, push doesn't appear to be. There are no outgoing commits. So what's this then? It says changes. 30.
And then
Go to home again.
no, I think you have to click changes on the bottom.
Oops.
On the bottom of the screen.
Oh, just click them. Okay. That's what I started with. That's what comes up.
And then a commit message.
Okay. So we just completed the UI, right? Oh, I forgot one of those. That's okay. Completed UI and then say commit all.
Yep.
And then sync it. Oh, so it's commit all, first commit and then sync. I always go the opposite and then push. Now, okay, there we go. Okay, so everything is on GitHub now. Okay, everything is on GitHub. Now, the only thing I forgot in my UI was my accept and cancel buttons. Did we talk about it last week? I think we did. Which button do you want to act as your accept button? Is I'm choosing button sign in. What does that mean? Anytime the user does an enter, as long as you're not already on a button, you have to keep that in mind. Any other control but a button, if you press the enter key, the sign in button is activated. That's what the accept button means. As long as you are not on any other button before you press enter. If you're on any other button, that's what gets selected. And the cancel button, what would you like your cancel button to be? Clear? You can choose whatever you like. You could do an exit if you like, but exit is kind of closing everything. Maybe button clear is okay for escape. So as long as you are not on a button, the focus is not on the button. There is a focus property also for your information. We'll also learn how to do it today if need be. The focus, if the focus is not on a button, then if you press the escape key, the clear button gets activated. Okay, that's the use of accept button and clear button. As long as the focus is not on a button already, that's how it works. So you will notice that the accept button becomes highlighted. So if you run it, and you will notice that the sign in button will look highlighted because that's your accept button. Okay, that's what it does. Okay, so we are ready to go. So the UI is ready. Okay, so let's start coding now. So since I said to begin with, I don't want I don't want my group box, my department group box to be active. I don't want the picture box to be visible. I don't want my check box to be visible. A few things that I don't want, I'll kind of put them in the load. So this is how you do it. Just double click anywhere on the form, not on any control. Double click on anywhere on the form. Is it still running? No. Okay. Why can't I make it active? Okay, there it is. And of course, I can increase this size. For whatever reason, I cannot. So don't forget, guys, no magic going on. The file that runs when you run is the program.cs. The program.cs is creating an object of this class that you created. And in this class, when it creates an object, it calls the constructor. And in the constructor, the initialize component method is being called, which belongs to your designer.cs file, where you created all those controls on your form. And since it says run it, create an object, and display it, it displays it on the screen. So there is no magic anywhere at all. Okay, so by double clicking on the form, you have created a private method called form promotions underscore load. Kind of helps you to say, oh, this is what happens when the form loads. You could change the name if you like. Nothing stops you from changing the name. I'm good with it. Automatically takes 2 parameters. An object who called this procedure, who called this event handler. Let me call it event handler because that's what it is. And what are the arguments? What are the extra arguments I need for this event? So the event that is taking place here is when the form loads. So basically default settings. When the form loads. That's what this method does, as the name suggests. Okay. Okay, that's what it does. Okay, so I want to do a few things. Let's see the few things I want to do. I want to make my department group box. Let's make it disabled. Okay, so grayed out. Okay, so it was called grp dot enabled property is equal to false. Right, so I'll show you both. Enabled, there is a property called enabled. If you say false, it is grayed out. The user cannot use it. And there is a property called visible that removes it from the screen altogether. So we'll use both, whatever it is like. Okay, we don't want to show our, the mask text. No, what was it called? The rich text box. RTF. Okay, so I don't want to make it visible. So its visible property is set to false. Yeah, let the user sign in. I mean, you could do whatever you like. Okay, what was it below it? The text box was called promotion. Its visible property, false. Enable just so that it grays out, nothing else. I've just done it. What else did we have? The checkbox, CHK. Oh, seems like we didn't change the name of the checkbox. Seems like it. So go back to your design. Image visible, properties. Yeah, see, forgot it. CHK, and let's call it image visible, because I didn't see it in my IntelliSense. So that kind of said, oh, you haven't changed it. So it's better just to change it. Bless you. Right. So checkbox CHK image visible. Once you do that and you come back to your code again, it was called CHK. There it is. And its visible property, false. What else do we have? The picture box. What was it called? Pic. Seems like we didn't change it too. Okay. Okay, so picture box. Please change its name. PIC. What would you like to call it? Department. So I've changed 2 names, which I did not. I'm not sure whether you did or not, but that's I forgot. So I know I forgot. So here I am. I've changed my picture box to be called PIC department. PIC is the short form for picture box, from what I think I remember I saw. And I've changed the checkbox to be called check, CHK image visible. Okay, and we are good to go now. So go back to your code and go pick. There it is. And its visible property to false. Statements are clear. So all I'm saying is these controls need to be either disabled or enabled, of course. And here I'm only disabling them. And again, I just wanted to show you the enabled property. You can make it visible false. It depends on you. I just thought I would show you this, and then the others as not to be shown at all. Buttons, buttons, let's keep the buttons because it's not a big deal. Sign in I need, clear and print should work. They're fine. There's nothing wrong in those buttons, and exit should be there. So now if I run my code, this is how it looks like. So my picture box, you were not able to see the picture box anyway before, but because it didn't have a border, but I still have to make it invisible. My checkbox is gone. I said visible is false. The rich text box is gone. The promotion text box is gone. And this is grayed out. So that's the difference between the visible property and the enabled property, right? The alt will of course work. So alt N will work. All these will work, right? What do I want to do when I sign in? So the user will be able to do any of these. None of these buttons are working right now. None of them will work. The print, we haven't done anything about these buttons, but this is now what I want to do. After the user enters name and member ID, we can put a simple if, it's not a big deal at all. And the user signs in, I'll show welcome whoever, and then show the text box. That's what I want to do. So now let's code the sign in button. Okay, so let's come and double click on the sign in button. So what do you want to do when the user signs in? So basically, again, some settings, some procedures to be done and so on. So allow the user to sign in. I'll give you a break in 5 minutes. Okay, I have my eye on my time and also on your faces. Okay, allow the user to sign in, and we will hide the input details and we'll show whatever we want and so on and so on. And we'll give a welcome message or whatever. Okay, so let's hide, and so let's show some welcome message. Okay. So before I can show something, I have to basically make that box visible. So take your RTF box, make its visible property as true, and in its text property, say something like welcome, assuming the person has given the name, which we are not checking right now, but we'll say welcome, and then we will put the name of the person and so on, whatever you like. Concatenation operator plus, take your text box name, take its text property, concatenate it with, so welcome whoever, right? Now, if you want to go to a new line, you have two options. This is a common option you've seen in other programming languages. A \n in double quotes takes you to a new line. Just so that you know, just so that you're aware of it, there is a class called environment. There it is. And it has a constant called new line. You could use this one also. Just, I know it's more work. It will say welcome, and then it will say whoever. So if I give my name as Anju Chawla, it will say welcome Anju Chawla. Don't forget your extra blank here, because that's what we want. And then go to a new line and show the person's member ID, just for the heck of it. Maybe I can put a colon here and then a blank, and then concatenate it with, so you know the concatenation operator. Take your masked text box, MSK did we do? Yeah, MSK, and take its text property. There. So it will show it on the screen, right? So in the text box, it will show this property on the screen. Okay, so let's hide some and then show some. Hide the controls we don't need. So once the user has signed in, we want to just maybe either gray out or remove the name and the member ID, whatever you want, really doesn't matter. Okay, so let's hide the controls that we don't want. Take your, that's why I needed that labels. Take your member ID label and set its visible property to false. Take your, I mean, it's not necessary to go in sequence, but it's always a good idea. Take your name, set its visible property to false. Okay, let's do this. And they were associated text boxes with it. Take your text box name and set its visible property to false. Take your masked text box, set its visible property to false. Okay. so any others that need to be hidden? No. So those are the controls that we need to hide. But we also want to display. We also want to make the other ones enabled, right? So hide the controls not needed and show the controls. Remember, we had that group box. It was called group department, and we had changed its enabled property, make it true. So the department box will come up. Also, image visible checkbox. Take your checkbox visible, make its visible property as true. Take your picture box, make its visible property as true. Anything else we had removed? So the last one, text box promotion. Thank you. Text box promotion. Oops, spelling of promotion is wrong. Okay, so I'm going to go back to my design. And this has a wrong spelling. Not that it matters, but I've always said nothing. Like these are small things, promotion. Promotion makes no sense, but promotion makes sense. Okay, so take that text box. It was called txt promotion. And make its visible property to true. There, job done. Okay, so we got this on, we got this and this on, we got this on, and we deleted. Yeah, that's what we need, right? Let's see if it works. Let's save it. Let's save it and run it. So that's how it looks, right? Let me give my input. If time permits, I'll show you the if statement today. No big deal. And since sign in button is my member, there it is. So that's what it does. Looks okay, right? You could, if you like, make the sign in button disabled. We could do that. It's not a big deal, right? You can make your sign in button disabled. So if you want to disable it, all you have to do is the exit won't work. So, I mean, you'll say the person has already signed in. Disable sign in. Till the user does a clear, right? Disable sign in. Okay, so what was that button called? BTN sign in. And it's enabled property. So we'll leave it there. Otherwise, it will kind of look blank. Is false. There. Right. So this is what I have done. So let's go to changes. Let's go to. So I've added the form load and sign in event handlers. That's what we've done. Let's say a commit all, and then do a sync, and then do a push. And there we go. Okay, so this is going to GitHub now, right? So that way, at least if you've missed it, you can have it. Okay, so now this is how it looks. And I could put an if, it's not a big deal at all. It's just that start. And now if you sign in, so if you don't give an input, unfortunately, that's what it will say, welcome and member ID. And we can always put an if. As I said, if time permits, I'll do it today, but there is more to be done. It's just an if statement. We've seen it so many times, but I want to do it as a whole next week. If and switches and if else's. Okay, so if we wanted to do that, we'll just say if, otherwise we would give a message or something on the screen, right? Whatever. So that works. Okay, no, not very quickly. Okay, let's take a break then, right? We'll come and do the rest of the buttons. So we'll take a 20-minute break. Please be back by 9:35. Okay, so 25 to 10. And this is all on GitHub for you to pick up if you want. So I'll just go and get water, and if you're interested, you can show me your last in class if you want, but we'll have time. Hopefully we'll have time at the end. But if you want to, you can. Okay, just let me get my water. So if you are interested, you can open up your, yes, Mahesh?
Okay.
So like if
Mine
I
is here, and I've
switch,
never had it on where to refigure it.
I think
Somehow,
we have it.
I'm so
You
tired.
put it in
I
the
plug my
resources
headphones in, gotta move my first. I'm like, no, I don't. Wait a
Now
minute.
and
I know, so like.
if you wanted to show an image right away,
If I need it, and I'd be like.
then you will go here, and it is image property, which we are not doing right away, but if you wanted to, image, here you should choose one of these. So that way we choose, say, example, choose bar, that's what will come when we want this.
When you first have it.
Yeah, but you don't need it, so make it back to nothing. Because R depends on what the user chooses in the video, right?
Just want to go back space like five, whatever. But it shouldn't be that.
Oh, it should be. It should be.
Because when you backwards, it goes all the way back one thing at a time.
So guys, I'll be back hopefully in 5 minutes, and if you want, you can show me your assignment one.
I just got mine, so I'd rather not spend it. Yeah.
I'll be back.
Huh? Oh, nice.
And I got this application for this for government. So my grandma said they have a check on the page, and I was like, there's a government check, there is, it would say what it's for, it's just like, it's
How much?
800.
That's your problem. You have a job? I get like, when the government just gives me money,
I don't
I'll
know,
get
just-
a check and it's like, oh,
I'm
our
like, why?
grocery thing or whatever, it's like a couple hundred
No,
dollars.
it didn't even say what it's for, it's just like a
They
check.
say who it's from, like, credit to government.
I don't remember.
Even that long.
But I was like, no, like, it's not my tax return, because I got the tax return. It's not trillion benefit, because that's only about $70.
I get like, like every month.
Yeah, yeah. Get my quarterly. Like, I'm just like, okay, I'll take it. Don't know why, but I'll take it.
Government gives me free money. Or
So, somebody broke. But the other day, I were shopping with a friend, and she comes like, she's like on the phone, she's watching my room, I hate it, not just walking my room. She's handing me a chocolate bar and I use it. Okay.
like if you are gonna enter my room, that's probably one of the best things you can do.
I'm
So
like, I'm just expecting, it's like Godiva, and I'm like,
what?
it's like really fancy chocolate.
I've never even heard of that.
Pretty chocolate. So it's like, it was really good, it was dark chocolate, and it was what? So good. I'm just like, why?
You know Taskbot, right? Taskbot, it's tool assisted stuff. Okay. So you don't really need to sound for this, but this is pretty good. All right, so you know Branch, again, Branch.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so here, oh look, it's 7.7 minutes too. It's 4 times 6. So it's Seamus. Wait for it.
I don't think I can. It's not like actually like.
Okay, so this game is kind of okay. Hold on, I gotta.
Why is it accepting drawings as?
I gotta switch something for each. Test sheet. No, test
Yep, you got it.
You ever heard of the SGDQ? SGDQ? Game Think Quick? It's a charity event where they speed run games and shit. It's awesome. There you should, it's pretty hilarious.
Anybody ready to show me assignment 1 from last week?
Oh, shit.
So if you can show it to me today, otherwise, like I'm assuming you have not done it. You know what I mean? Like, let's get it over and finished with that. Yeah, it's just easy for me. I will always try to mark it in class. It's just that, and it's easy for you. You just have to open it. You know what I mean? For me, it's downloading it, unzipping it, opening it. So I'll always mark it in class. On Blackboard, you always have to put it because for record purposes. But these are in class. I'll be back. Yes. Were you here last week?
There's some more like something.
Sorry, last week? You have to be in class to do it.
Yeah, well, it's great.
Because it's an in-class assignment. So if you leave, you leave. That means you're not interested in leaving. You don't get the chance. Okay, so in future,
They're all just setting up.
okay. So this time I take it. Okay.
There's a lot.
Shortening keys, we can do shortening keys. Remember I said they should have shortening keys so that if I could do Alt and B and then so that's missing.
All right, so they're starting now. No, wait, I think I know it. They haven't actually started yet because the cartridge is in.
It's kind of looking very ordinary. Let's put it left to left. It's sitting or it's a message, right? It should start from the left hand side. Make sense?
So nobody's touching it. Now they don't show the bottom of the camera.
That's so I think the shortening keys is what it is. Okay, shortening keys. Right here. I can add in front of it. I can put anything. So maybe take care of it. Now I can add. Now we're ready. So now if I press Alt A, that's called a shorthand, right? Shorthand, keyboard access. So instead of using the mouse, I can just do Alt. So if you have it with every my assignment set, please put it for one of them. Then if I click it, so that's keyboard access. Okay? Okay, got it? So is it working? So the only thing that must be a little improved is the text line problems. It's kind of very odd coming in the middle. Right? So you know how to do this. Or you maybe here on the so if you want it top left or if you want it top, so that depends on you. Let's see if you get try. I mean, it's not, I can force you to. Okay, so the only thing that was missing was your okay, so keep that in mind in future so that you don't lose it. Because anything that's missing, you lose.
I just didn't even put it in.
So okay, that's what you get and that's what you learn back. But in future, please remember you have this class. You do an in-class. So if you're not in class, you're not in class. Okay? I have to come back in. Second time, I think you're so now look at something. Too much of exercise you would have reduced the size of it. Right? Just because it's quite small. So if you were doing very limited or something like that, the rest looks okay. Because as the size is not, cannot be maximized. The rest looks okay. The only thing that I would recommend is increasing the size of it. What shapes? M I saw, right? So I've seen it. Okay. It's on Blackboard also, right? So everything goes on Blackboard for record purposes. Because if I lose the sheet, which I shouldn't, at least we know you did it. Yes, next one. Let's do one. Let's try a few ones, please. Okay, let's try the print, please. Okay, let's close that. Let's see if there are any resizing handles that no good. Let's do it Alt X, please. Something is wrong. I think your heading is wrong. Look a little off. Guys, my eyes are very. You don't have it. I'll show you what I'm doing. This is not in this side. Notice how it's skewed towards the left, and I could see it when I opened it. Like this. So small things, but they matter. Okay. So please see that everything is kind of neat and clean is what I'm trying to say. The rest looks okay. The rest looks good. Be careful about that.
That's like the beginning part of it, dude.
They program it, or is it like?
I don't know that. Kevin not wanted to
They programmed it to do various
see
things.
something?
Okay, so it's not like choosing.
Yeah, no, that's why they said.
Oh, let's see. Kevin, what's the last one?
This exact thing.
Anybody that I didn't see last week is who shows it to me next week. You want your last week? I thought you were going to say this. Okay, no. Okay, so let's see. We tried to transport buttons together in these two separate so that they look as if they were together. But let's keep those small things in mind. What's important? So let's do it once. Let's do it. Start position. Start position. Oh, that one. Oh, that's in the up. Maybe you don't have that one. Okay, this one is a little more bigger. Kind of, I mean, could be. It's not bad, but it could be. So yeah, the only thing I see is something is not right here. They're not equally spaced or something. Yeah, so they're looking odd. And it's such a small thing, right? All you have to do is maybe take these four together and we'll say make vertical spacing equal, right? And then we can take these two and maybe move them a little down just so that they look a bit. But if you don't have to, if you don't want to, you can take all of these buttons together and say make vertical spacing. It is illuminated. So don't forget these things because I've told you once, if I have to come and tell you again, that means you do so much, right? So now on. So Johnny last time. So anybody else from the last week's assignment?
You saw mine, right?
So it is last name, right?
Thank you. Last name is Dinkin.
Lincoln. Not
You did see that.
yes, it's marked. And if you showed it to me last week, then you're okay. Then you don't have to show it to me. Yes. Okay. It's just easy for me. One, I can give you my feedback immediately, right? I can show you what marks I gave you. And then I don't have to bother. And that's what an in-class assignment is. I'm looking for it quickly. I'm not even looking at code because the code is not yet so important because you didn't do a lot. When it comes to looking at code, then I say, okay, this is an take-home assignment because then your code is being marked too. Usually, if I say it can be finished, it should be. If there's a reason, there is something going on. Like last time I knew you weren't able to finish it, so I said, okay, give it 5 minutes. I knew you would. So if I see that way, then I'll say, okay, there is something special or something. That is it is how you close it. Oh, Okay, I think your section is done. So I've marked everybody's, right?
What about, he was still working on it last week. Never had issues, I'm not sure. Very good. No, he didn't. Did he?
Yeah, I can remember on the very end. They were like, oh, I can't resize it. It was the resize.
Maybe you're right, I could be wrong, because I have a dot, so maybe there was something, I'll just ask you.
Marks are not on Blackboard.
They are not yet, no, they're not. They won't be for a while, right? So all you ensure is that I have it here, which when I come to you, just see that I put a tick mark in front of your name. That's all I do. And it's all done for your section. You're okay. Okay. What's your last name, Mahesh?
Chawan.
It's done. I double checked this section. I just did. So you're okay. But yeah, it's always good to verify. Okay. Oops. The room will now smell of banana peels. Anyway, okay, let's go ahead and then complete the rest, okay? Oops, I again forgot to close my... When you listen to my... You'll have some extra stuff going on. Okay, let's come back to design then. Okay, so we've taken care of the sign in button, and what else have we taken care of? Nothing yet, only the sign in button and the load, which is okay. The clear, the print, and the exit are not so tough, so let's do those first, and then we'll come back to this picture. Okay, so please open up your toolbox, and from your from your PowerPex, please get a print form component. In the print form component, in its properties, you please change it to print to preview. Remember, you can do all this in your code also. I said anything that you're doing in properties here can be done in the code too. Nothing stops you. Okay, and you should know both ways of doing it. Okay, okay, and now double click on your print button and print the form. So notice how I have small comments in each of my event handlers to say what it does. So what do? You take your print form 1 and print it. That's all you have to do. Oops. There, and print it. Right, so if you wanted, you could have set the property here for your print form 1, the same property that you've set it in design, you could do it here too. So the property that you set here, I'll kind of look at what it is called. It is called print action, and you can do the same job here. You can say print form 1 dot print action and give it the value, right? And it helps you. IntelliSense helps you, so you don't have to remember a lot. It's just an enumerated constant that you're trying to set. So it has already been defined. All you have to do is just choose it. So now your form will be printed. Let's do clear and then exit. So with exit, close the form or close the application, whatever you like. You only have one form. So I used, I think, application.exit in my last example. In this one, I'll just say this dot close. Right, now let's look at clear. What do you think should happen in clear? The clear says the form should come back to its starting default state. That's what it should do. Now there are a few options. Anything that you made invisible or visible or enabled or disabled, whatever, you kind of do them all again. Make this visible, make this disabled, whatever. You can do all those statements. An easier, though not always the best way of doing it is this. So it's easier because you don't have to. So we are saying reset the form to its start default state. That's what usually clear does. By default, that's what the clear button does. So if nothing is said, that's what you will assume, that you want to start at the default start state. So an easy but not the best. I say not the best because because it takes time. You can take your application and you can say a restart. So why is it not the best? Because it takes time, right? So the whole application will shut off and it will start again. So it is time consuming. So if it is time consuming, that means if this application was running on different machines, say in an organization, everybody is using it. So every time they do a clear, the application stops and restarts, it will take time. So it is time consuming. So the other way was, of course, you write all those statements. Whatever you did in your load has to be put back, and any other controls that you disabled or enabled or made visible, you have to set them back to invisible. And those are a few statements, maybe 10, 12 statements, but that's how you could do it. So now let's see if these buttons are working. So let's give it a shot again. And let's try to give something like anything that will make sense. If you don't start from the beginning, you've lost a space. Keep that in mind. Again, let's do a sign in. And see what's happened by default. As soon as you make that group box enabled, the clothing radio button becomes enabled. And that's its nature. It's just what it is. So it was disabled, now it is enabled. So you have to be careful that as soon as I will make the group box enabled, the clothing will come on. So what should you do? You should automatically put a promotion message here. You should put its corresponding promotion message here. Let's see if clear is working. See, did you notice it went and came back again? So it is a drawback. The print should work and the exit should work. Okay, so we just noticed something, and that notice was as soon as the group box was enabled, the clothing radio button was on. So now for the radio buttons, we have to write procedures. When the user checks the clothing radio button, the promotion is shown in the promotion text box that you created, and so on and so forth. So now we need to write code for these 5 radio buttons. So start double clicking on each one of them. Okay, what do you want to show? You want to show the promotion. and its image. But the picture will only appear if the user has said that I want to see the image. But the radio button will, the radio button still has to say, okay, these are the two things that I'm interested in. So show the corresponding promotion and picture for clothing. That's what we want to do. Okay, how do we do it? The promotion text box is called TXT promotion. That's the text box under your welcome. Okay, and in it, and in its text property, that's why it's not helping me. In its text property, I want to say, you could put whatever you like. I'll give it to you so that it's easy. 30% off clearance items. You can, any legible sales will do. And in the image, so I didn't put any image in my picture box because I didn't want to start with an image. The image depends upon what you choose. So now in your picture box, which was picture department, in its image property, assign it the value. Now, where do I have to pick up the image from? You have to pick up the image from your lesson 2 properties, resources, and whatever, right? So I'll kind of write it and then I want to show you something. So we'll start with lesson 2. It's not showing it to me because it doesn't need it. But anyway, I'm going to pick it up from here. What was it called? Oh, it wasn't called lesson 2. Oops, it was called Comp1004. That's why it's not showing it. And I'm thinking, okay, so it's called, I'm giving the name of my comp. Still not coming up. Maybe because it starts with a capital. That's strange. That's what the namespace is called. It should help me, but it doesn't need it. And I want to show you that it doesn't need it. And maybe that's why it's not helping me. Okay, so that's the name of your project. Okay, that's the name of your project. In its properties, there it is. In its resources, that's where it is. What picture do we want? The clothing picture. Okay, so it has a small c, which is okay. I don't know what you called it. So if you called it whatever, put it here. So notice how the namespace Comp1004 week 4 Tuesday is grayed out. What it is trying to tell me is you don't need it. You'll say, why don't you need it? Because remember the using statements up there? It says, when I'm saying using system, automatically this namespace is included. I don't have to do it. So you can leave it if you like, but you don't need it. And I was just trying to show you that you could do it completely. So what are you picking up? You are picking up the properties of your project. In there, the resources folder, and in there, the clothing picture, right? The clothing picture was called clothing. That's what it named it. It just called it clothing. And so you could remove it. I'll just leave it so that you can see it. And now what will happen is whenever you click on the radio button for clothing, the text will say 30% off clearest item. But let's see if it is showing you the image. And let's say Anju, and let's say sign in. And see, there it is. But there is a little problem here. The image visible checkbox is not checked. And I'm still showing the image. If I didn't have that checkbox, it's okay. Whenever I choose it, show the image. But now the image should only be seen if the image visible checkbox is checked on. So we'll take care of that in a minute. But let's first complete all. So this is what is happening. Will anything happen on this one? No, because I didn't do anything. It will still say 30% off clearest item, and this never got cleared. It stays where it is. Okay, so the rest are not working. So let's make them work. So does it make sense what I've done? I've said when the radio button will be checked. Remember, please look at the event handler. Checked, changed. Either checked or unchecked. Both ways. Okay, either checked or unchecked. That's what checked change means. So you have to be careful. And again, remember, at any given time, only one radio button can be checked because I've put it all in my group box. So please do this now for each one of them. So double click here. And you know what you could do? You could just maybe, you don't have to, but you could take copy and paste. And here you will save for equipment and accessories. Choose the right picture. So in the equipment one, you can again put any legible message. I'm saying 30% off all equipment. Anything that will make sense. And what do we want in the image? So here, if you don't want to, we can just say properties dot, we just found out we don't need it, resources, and mine was called equipment. And there you go. Right? Okay, pick up your next one. So just do it for all 5 radio buttons. And again, I'll just do this. If you have the right pictures, that's fine. If you don't have the right pictures, then something will come up. Okay, so if you want something here, I have free serving of wheat berry shake. Anyway, free serving. If you like it, there it is. Wheat berry shake. And the picture we want is properties. Come on. Oh, I think the capital, yeah, of course it is case sensitive. Properties, resources, but I think resources comes on, I don't know. Sometimes it just doesn't help. And mine is called juice. There. Let's go to the next one. And the next one is membership. Once we do this, all our radio buttons should work. Okay, let's see what the promotion is. The promotion for membership is free personal trainer for the first month. And the image is properties. That is strange that it takes a while, I think. If you start with capital, and mine is called member. There. And lastly, but not the least, let's go to personal training. So please see that you change messages or change your comments. You're most welcome to copy and paste from your own code, but please be intelligent enough to change it. And for personal training, I have 3 free sessions with membership renewal. And the image, of course, whatever you have. I'll start with the capital P, comes to it quickly. Resources. And where are you? Personal. This one. Oh, this is training, right? Training. There it is. There. So now all my radio buttons should work. Okay, so let's try. I'll just do a sign in. Okay, so that's clothing. 30% off clearance items of all equipment, juice bar, free serving of wheat berry shake, membership, free personal. And notice how I double check that you are seeing the complete message. No messages should be cut off, guys. Please. No spelling mistakes. No messages should be cut off. And personal training. Oh, there it is. Renewal WAL is missing. I need a bigger box. So notice, so check that everything works. So we need to increase the size of our promotion text box. I mean, it would have been nice if we could keep it this way, but if it doesn't, we have to take care of it. So the box size is small. So check everything, that everything is clearly visible in your text boxes. So that's your job. If I don't see it, you lose marks. Now, the only problem is this. The image always comes up irrespective of this checkbox, which is a useless checkbox, that means. So we should do this. If the checkbox is checked, show the image, else don't show the image. So I'll show you a small example of if, and then I'll show you how you can replace it. So you will be doing a small if, not a big one, but at least we all know what an if is, but still. I'll do it all together with switch next time. Okay, so double click on your image visible. What is it saying? Again, checked change property. Have you unchecked it or have you checked it? That's what it is saying, right? So checked changed. You have changed its checked property. What do you want to say? You want to picture displayed if checked. That's what you want to say, right? Now, there are a few ways of doing it. If this makes sense to you, we'll write it this way first. So what are you saying? You're saying if my checkbox image visibles, which property? Visible property is true, not visible, sorry. If its checked property is true, You don't have to say is equal to true. We all know that. You don't have to. You don't have to say is equal to true. The short form is if checked, visible checked. Again, just try to be a smarter programmer now since you're in semester 3. You don't need it. You don't have to say is equal to true. For your information, that's how you say is equal to in C#, right? If it is true, what do you want to do? What was that picture box? Pick department visible property is true. Else, pick departments. And again, you don't have to put, you don't have to if you don't need, you only need a single one. But some programmers like it so that if they have to add something, they don't have to bother about it. And that's up to you. That's your personal preference again. It's up to you. So single statements don't need a opening and closing bracket, but it's a good habit. I would say it is a good habit. So it will format it for you, whereas there is also a command. I can't remember, maybe in edit or view, there is a command which will format everything for you. There has to be, there will be. Somewhere you can say format my code. Then it formats it neatly. And it does takes a click of a mouse. So do it whenever you, oh God, I can't see it. It's called format something. What's coming back to me is Eclipse where it said format. But here somewhere you will see, do you see it somewhere? In some other encode, transform, selected items, select all, find and replace, go to, navigate. Should be in edit, right? There should be a shorthand of doing it. Oh, edit advanced? Where do you see the advanced? Okay, yeah, okay, could be. Oh, there you are, you're right. Format document. I told you there has to be some shorthand key. So you could do a control ED. That's not so tough. ED is like a DE, right? So it's easy. So every time, usually it will format it for you, but at the end, always make a point that the code is formatted before you give it to me, because I should be able to read it, right? So don't mess up. Okay, there it is, right? So now this is your small if statement. Does it make sense? It's like an if of, in any other language, it is saying that if the image visible checked is true, you don't have to say is equal to true, make the department picture box visible, else don't make it visible. So even if the image has been set in the radio button, which you have to set, where else will you set it? You can't put an if else here. You can't say, oh, if this is the case, do this. No, that is the job of the radio button. So if it is not visible, you can't see it. Or the shorthand form of this is this. So your pick department, so I'll write it for you and then its visibility property depends upon the checkboxes checked property. See, this is a short form, just one single statement. Why? Look at it. The right hand side says the checked property will determine if the visible is true or not. So if the checked is true, it will automatically be true. If the checked is false, it will automatically be false. You don't need an if else. So I would prefer you to use this statement just because it is compact, neat and clean. But if this makes more sense to you, sure, go ahead and use it. But we have one single statement on the right hand side. The checked property will determine if the visibility of your department picture box is true or false. So why will we write an if and else? So I have written it for you. The rest is up to you. I mean, I'm not forcing you to do it, but you know what? I mean, as I said, now you are mature programmers. So maybe start doing short, complete, clear statements. Right? So I'll do this and now let's check if it works. So now see what happens. As soon as I do a sign in, this comes and this comes. Uh-oh, something is not working. Did I forget something?
When you click sign in, you make.
Oh, I do something there. Oh, exactly. Okay, so there is where I've made the mistake. Okay, thank you. So in my sign-in procedure, Sakura is saying in your sign-in procedure, you make your, yeah, I should remove it from here. Oh, but you see, this is still okay. If I'm saying, oh, check, this is visible. Oh, by default, okay. Okay, so we'll have to remove this then. if I set the checked property true here, then it should have done it. I made it true. Sign in, I made it visible, so it became visible. I mean, as I said, no magic. Whatever you do is what you get. Okay, now let's try. Okay, there it is. Now if I go here, notice how it comes. If I remove it, it goes. So that's exactly what your check properties do. If you change it, again, if you get it, back. If you don't get it, that's how it works. So you could have done two things. You could have started with this visible, you could have started with this checked property as true. In that case, I should have said check image visibles dot visible properties true, and I could have checked it right here to begin with. I don't give the user the option. I say it will be checked. If you do that, then you will have to make, then it's fine. But if you don't, then the user has to manually check it or uncheck, whatever. But it works, right? It works correctly. So if you make it checked here, it will automatically show the image. If you say, no, that's not the default I want to do, don't do it, right? But remove that visible property from here. I had made it visible here. The picture box was visible, so that's what was happening. Okay, so remove that from here and you're okay. So we are good to go, right? So keep in mind a few things. The radio button, before even we kind of, I mean, this is happening now, but by default, whenever a group box is enabled and it has radio buttons, the first radio button gets checked by default. So here we are okay because in its procedure, it says, oh, put that message on the screen. But sometimes there may be no message and maybe you don't like it to be checked. But you know what? It's sometimes you just can't remove it. It just doesn't work. It's a bug. It just happens. That's its default nature. Okay, so you have to be careful about these things when you write a project. Anything else that is not working? Have we taken care of everything? Oh, we had, remember this was a problem. We had to increase the size. Now the only way I can increase the size is maybe make it, I don't know, align it maybe here, something like this. That's the only way. And maybe this one, align it here. And maybe align this here also, just so that it looks better. So I've given them bigger sizes just because we noticed that personal training message was not coming completely in my promotion text box. So it's a small thing, but it's a half mark for you. Why should you lose half a mark? I mean, if I see something amiss, you will lose marks. So why? So just double check that everything works properly. So I increase the size of my text box, and to kind of keep it symmetrical, I also increase the size of my rich text box. If any other way works for you, sure, go ahead and do that way. Maybe you want to give this message of what is the clearance below your department, whatever works for you, as long as it is neat, clean, and I can make sense out of it. So that was the only thing that was missing, right? So again, I have some changes. I'll commit it to, oops. I think everything is saved now, taken care of everything. I think we are good. We're not missing anything. I don't think so. So let's commit these changes so that you have it. So what have we done now? We have completed the code, right? Everything is working now. Okay, so your job now, what is it, 9:59? Yes, you have enough time. It's 10 o'clock. You should be done and finished with your assignment 2 in 50 minutes. You should be. It's not a big thing. I've done a few small things for you. Okay, give me a minute, please. I think I know where it is. The other section couldn't do it, so now you will be able to get an hour of work done. So where are we? In-class assignments. Now I had to pick up an old one so that I could use the old formatting. I didn't want to redraw the form myself. So I picked up an old one that I had from long back, but just for naming conventions, but I made changes whatever I wanted. So I'm going to give that to you. So if you see, it will automatically open in 2015. It's not that it won't open, but if you have to, if it asks you a question like, do you want to upgrade it or whatever, say yes, just let it go. So I was fine, right? And it could have an older date. Don't worry about it. I took the form, I cheated. I didn't want to draw the form again. Okay, so now, and again, all these PowerPoint slides are coming up on Blackboard. Okay, whatever I'm doing are coming up on Blackboard. So let's go to your, where are you? Assignments. Of all the things. So you should be done and finished in 50 minutes. Maybe I won't be able to mark it, but that's okay. And maybe I will be able to for some of you. So ICA 1 is completed for your section. Sakura, did I see your in class 1 last week at the end?
I don't think so.
I don't think so too, right? So is it ready? Show it to me before you leave, okay? Okay, so I'm going to put up this for you. That's what I thought and Megan, did I see yours?
Yeah.
Okay, so okay. I'm just, because you two were not here when I was looking around on the break. So just want to be sure. No. If you showed it to me and it's marked, that's fine. Just kind of, okay, so what do we want to do? Let me attach it and then you can get it down. Where are we? Documents. And then I can say whatever, submit it. Once you download it, I can put my comments. In class and formatter. So you'll have to I've given you a starting project. That way we are saving time, and the other thing is I'm asking you what I need to ask you. Okay, so download it and then I'll put my comments. Okay, and the comments are simply will say please download the attached file and follow instructions, whatever. Once you complete it, please submit it. So download it and then I'll put my comments. So this is a zipped file I've given you. You will unzip it. It's a complete project. Double click on your solution file and it should open up. So it already has stuff in it, and then oops, and what you have to do is missing. How silly is that? Okay, what you have to do is missing. So that file is here. In class 2. There it is, in class 2. And then follow instructions in this in class 2 completely and correctly. So download the 2 files, and once you've done it, I will remove it immediately in 5 minutes, because the other section, I don't want it to give it to the other section, to be fair to everybody, right? Because you are seeing it now and doing it now, and they'll have a week's time to look at it and do it. So please download these 2 files and you will resubmit the same zipped file, of course, with your name attached to it, back on Blackboard. For record purposes, I will still mark it in class. So this time, whatever you give me is what you get. Last week, I was kind of liberal. I said, you are missing this, and I let you do it. But this time, that's how otherwise everybody gets perfect. So you know what? The whole purpose is lost. So you can ask me questions. I'm around to help you with something, but what you show me is what you get this time. So once you have both of them downloaded, please let me know and I'll remove them. And the removal is just so that the other section doesn't see it, to be fair to everybody. So the zipped file is a C# project. Unzip it and get into it and double click on the solution file or the CS project file, whatever is convenient. If it asks for, do you need to upgrade to 2015, say yes. If it doesn't, you're good to go. And as I said, I was only being lazy. That's it. That's why I kind of. Okay, so all you have to do is ICA2, your name and .zip. Okay, so we have everything now. Everybody has downloaded the 2 files. Can I remove them from Blackboard now, please? Are you okay? Okay, good. So I'm going to mark them for removal, just as I said. And I hope that you will not share it with your friends in the other section. So once you are done, that's all you have to do. So this is what I need you to do. So I've said you may have to upgrade it. I'm not sure. I was fine because I copied the form. I'm not sure if it will say something. Yes. What is it? Did you answer it? Yeah. Let's see. Let's go to it. It's not opening. Is that the solution file? Can I see its extension?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
it should open.
No, double click.
Or maybe the right click.
But is it not opening for you?
I'm like, oh yeah, that might open your project.
Yeah, it should. Because like all I did was zip it, right? Yeah, so what could you, did you unzip it? Yeah. You just did double click on it, right?
No, I unzipped.
Yeah, you unzipped it, right? Okay, double click on it. Okay, let's try another way then. Okay, no, go back. Double click again. Double click again. Go to your lesson to formatter folder. There should be a CS project file. No, CS project. Let's go back. One more time. Go into .ps. Do it again.
Oh, it might be not.
Okay. Okay. So that's not it. It's called a CS project file. Let me see. If it is not opening with the solution file, there is another file you could open. So let me see where I have it. So double clicking, it should open it. Yeah, it is in my, see here it is CS project file. I don't even see that file in yours. So you could double click on this file also to open it, but I don't even see that. So either it has not unzipped properly or something has gone wrong. No, I don't see it. Let's go to its Solution Explorer. Do you see it? Oh, it's loading. Wait, it's just loading, okay? I don't know why it is taking so much time, but that's what it says, loading. It shouldn't take that much time. Okay, there you are. There it is. That's there. It is. Okay? Okay, message form.cs. Then it's just taking some time on your laptops.
When I unzip the two files,
Yeah, but that's a folder, that's not a file. That's a folder. So double click on the solution. There are two ways. You can either double click on this one. So is it already open? Yeah, you're okay.
but it's not showing the designer.
Yeah, but you can always see the designer view by going to message.form, not the program.cs, right? Okay, the name of the form. Yes. Oh, 4.6. Yeah, I'm using the latest framework because that's, but if you downloaded Visual 2015 from a GleamSpark, it automatically came with it. I didn't have to download it. Did you download Visual from a GleamSpark?
Yeah, that's right.
Update it? Oh, you have the community edition, that's the government. Remember the GleamSpark, the free version that the college gives, you need the enterprise. Yeah, I mean, you could download the framework separately if you want. I don't know whether it's free or not, but the visual right unit, you only go right? Yeah. For now, yeah, you'll have to, yes, because I'm on a different framework. You know what? Maybe, did it open? You could change the framework.
No, it directly to
Get it?
no, it directly to NSM.
Yeah, it's just because you have the community edition. Yes? No. Hotkeys are operational means if I do an Alt N, my cursor jumps here. Alt M, my cursor jumps here. They're operational, they're operating. That's what it is. Okay. So notice, guys, if you notice, if you have opened up the solution, I want to bring your attention to a few things that are a little different, and it's not a big deal, but naming conventions, I've just shown you a different way of naming my controls. And as I said, I had to cheat it from my old one, so therefore maybe it shows an old name, but anyway, notice how I've called them differently. So if you open the property, I mean, you may have it open. Notice how I've called it name text box. That's another convention. So you put the whole name of the control after it. So this was easy because then you didn't have to know things. So it's big. Oh, another thing that you should know, because you're going to need it. I have a big picture box and I have a small picture box. So the small one is not visible because it's inside it. Where are you? S? Little. Sorry, not small, little. So there are two picture boxes, right? You're not able to see it because it didn't come up. But there are two picture boxes, and this is what should do. When I click the picture, whatever picture, the small changes to big, the big changes to small. That's what it does. Swaps, right? It's a toggle switch. The click picture is a toggle switch. So therefore, there are two picture boxes: the big picture box and the little picture box. And the toggling is just changing the image. So big picture to a small picture, a small picture to a big picture. And don't forget your names, which I have forgotten in today's class. I forgot it. Please see that you have your, and I think it's right here. In this one, it's here. And maybe I should just copy and paste. But please see that you have the project, the programmer's name, the date, and the description. I've already done it for you in assignment 2, but we forgot it in the classwork today. So please see that you have it in your code always. And you can put it in single comments if you like, though it's not very neat, or you can put it in block commenting. So always see that you have your name, the date. Oh, we are at the end of September almost, guys. And the purpose at the head. Okay, and the purpose is, what did we do today? We said we would, we learned about new controls. Create an application for the fitness center. Allow user to log in or sign in. Select promotions. This is what we did today. So your purpose should be clean and clear. So it says create an application for the fitness center, allow user to sign in and select promotions, and display the promotion details with appropriate images. You learned quite a few new controls today. So the purpose is already given for you, but anyway. That's the first thing I should do actually instead of last, but right. So everything that I need from you hopefully is clear. Oh, please put your name in the programmer's comment. So not a big thing, but yeah, it will take maybe 50 minutes for sure. Are we okay? Any questions? Right, so the document is there, the project is there. Yes, Kevin? Okay. Yeah, and then choose one of these and the message visible, and the color you choose, the message appears in that. And also I did show the students because it was not very visible. Oh, we are on it. Okay, I thought it was running. This is called the big picture box, and there is a small one, a little one also, which you don't see. I wanted you to see that there are two. So basically, click picture, when you click it, the small changes to big changes to small. That's what the click picture is. Okay, and all I need from you is all. It's all mentioned in what I need from you. So check the black radio button and the visible checkbox. All this is, it's written. So you have to complete the thing. Okay. So the code needs to be completed, and whatever needs to be completed is already kind of given to you. I've already double clicked and done everything just so that we could save time. So if you go to the code, if you can't see the code, you can always say view code, guys. See, I've written it here. What do I want? It's in comments here. So all you do is complete it. See here it says what do you want to do when you click the big picture box and what should happen when you click the little picture box. It's all here. Yes, David? Yeah? You're very quick, David. Give me 1 second. Let me get my pen and my stuff ready. You had a question? I saw some hand going up here. Okay. Now, what was you saying? You got me another way, I've got my key, it said what needs to be done, right? So I have to find out. Can you open my Word document for me, please? So you go to get this population. Okay, so the same thing. Form, that's the common one. Send the common one. Okay. Right now. Let's talk about left side. Okay, what is our question? The usual, right? Okay, so let's maximize. So maybe that's so smart. Taken my title and put it as heading. That's not what I wanted. Okay, so Alt M should work. Alt M should work. Except putting everything to have one. Okay, so. That's what it said. Guys, in this one you could have, instead of restart, because there was not much to do, try to practice how to clear a form without the restart. Restart, I told you, is not a very good way of doing it. Anyways, let's
Just text you with blank.
Yeah, you just make stuff Yeah. Check the black now. So they should be checked by default and it's yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Oh, I did something else? Okay. Sorry. Okay, so I said the black should be on and the message should be. Okay, that was an idea. Okay, that's good. Escape, so let's try something. Let's try this. So I can force it, or maybe I should remember to say, please don't use applications or restart or something, right? Just so that you know how to do it. Otherwise, you'll always go the easier route. Because it's easy, but it's not the best. I shouldn't have done it myself because I should have
Changes now
that
upward,
before
right?
starting. Yeah. The restart is just cheapest, right? It's just, I mean, it's not a big deal because that's here, right? Guys, can you remember to do the clear not with a restart, please, but with statements, please, for me? It will be appreciated just because I don't want you to get into the habit of restart. Then you will do it every time. And remember, that's time consuming and not the best way to do it. So from next week onwards, I'll also do it the proper way. Here it was so much that I kind of did it. So you now know about it. So I haven't said anything in this assignment, so I won't drop off marks, but maybe in future I'll remember to say, please clear it not using these. You know what I mean?
It's not a big job, so there were only a few things, right?
Yeah, it was just
Well, not a few. You can also say.
You make it
It has to be black and label.
the text box.
Actually, probably, yeah.
That's another thing. Probably just text box. That way it's
Probably
safe.
not.
No.
Probably not. Let's find it out.
You can always close the
I remember I tried to make them focus.
and you can see one of this one and that. Just do it forever. So that's another way of doing it. So anyway, you can use the text box, you can see one. You can do this with, I mean, it's less words, you know what I mean? But you can do it with English. With the label, you would have to do it this way or say it should be seen. Okay, have not to do it. Always. It always goes on Blackboard, guys, without my saying words. I've said it on my assignment. It always goes on Blackboard. So in this one, please try to do a clear with statements. For your information, there is a clear method with text box that will clear it. You know what, maybe I'll just, who had a question here? Oh, all of you. Okay, Rayesh, yes.
About this.
Yeah, set the accept and the cancel button properties of your form to display and clear buttons. Right? There are two properties. So display button will become your accept button and clear will become your cancel button. Remember we did it? We just did it today. Yes, your question? No. I don't know. Let's check. Do an alt. Are we checking it or are you asking me a question? Okay, so how? Okay, so if alt moves, no, the rest don't. I'm not worried about the rest. I'm worried about M and N. Those are the only two I'm worried about. Because the rest automatically do it. No, that's tab order. Tab order is different from setting the alt keys. Alt keys means when I do an alt M, I should jump to message because M is related, and when I do an alt N, it should jump in. It just worked for you because that's how you send it. But be careful, okay? It's just by chance. Okay, so let's see tab. So you're going from name to message to visible. Yeah, you should be doing this, 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 this. Okay, so let's look at it. Do you think logically what's true? Okay, so you started here, then you went to color. Okay, so 0, 1, 2. What is this 3 box? We don't even need it. Remember, it's a label, it's just for labels. So you should remove its only property. So this is useless. It shouldn't even go here. Make its tab property as false. So that should be 3 then, and that should be 4, 5, and 6. And then you can 7, 8, 9. It does, you don't see it. It does. It does, okay? So change them. So we'll start with 0 here. So start clicking the first one, 1. Then you want to go to 2. Then you want to go to 3, 4, 5, 6, and then 7, 8, 9, whatever you do. Doesn't matter. And 9 here, no, maybe 3 because there's another. Okay, now go to view that. Is that a text box or is that a label? But it's a text box. So you are missing something. In this text box, did you make its read-only property as false? No, it's not a text box, it's a label. Yeah, because otherwise it would have a read-only property, and I don't see it. Double click on it. I don't know whether I had a label or did you change it. Okay, I don't know.
I thought it's text.
No. Because it's already running. How many times will you run it? The red means it's already running. Okay, so here it is. Open it from here. It's running there. Okay? If the red, that's okay. If the red box is there, it is running. Okay? And you can run it more than once, right? Done? Okay, let me see. Do we have a mouse? No, we don't have a mouse. Okay, run it. Okay, let me see a few things. Okay, so it's in the center. Maximize. Can you get me the resizing? Okay. Alt keys. So please try Alt M for me first. I want an Alt N then. And Okay, so by default message is on. Okay, so please give a name and a message. Whatever, yeah. Okay, let's do a display. Enter key, please. Okay, let's change the color to green, please. Okay, let's do a clear. Okay, let's do click picture will still work. Will it? Yeah, it will work. Okay. It has nothing to do with what's coming. Okay, let's do escape. Okay, let's come to. I think we are good for the others, right?
Yeah, they all work.
They all do. Okay.
While you're here.
Yeah. Make a last name. Okay, second one. Okay, yeah, the perfect. Okay, I can't see anything. Your resolution is so high that. Okay, let's try the odd keys. I want to see the odd keys work. I want to see odd. Okay, so do an odd N for me, odd N for me. Okay, or tabs. Oh, Megan, I forgot to check your tabs. Did you set them properly?
Yeah, I said they all.
Why isn't it coming to the click picture one? I see from message, but it should come here, right? Yeah, this is just.
I go.
Okay, let's make it work first. Let's do a few things. Okay, go ahead and do it for me. Put in a name and a message. Okay, let's try to change the colors. Let's try to click the picture. Let's try to do a clear. And let's try to again put in a name and use the enter key and use the escape. Okay. Can I see the tab order there, please? I'm going to view tab order.
I think it gives it doesn't give like the actual picture. Like it doesn't make it even big.
Yeah, you're right. There's no way I can see. So let's see. Now, why does this have a 3? The label can be ignored altogether. So it's 0, 1, 2. This should have been 3. That's okay. But this should be 3 and then 4, 5, 6. Maybe that's. Okay, we are good. Okay, show me the other one that we print the other day. Because I've forgotten what I was marking. But anybody else ready? No mouse again? Okay, you go ahead and do it for me. Okay, so let's do an Alt M, please. Alt M. Alt M is not working.
Oh, I'm in control.
Okay, Alt M and Alt N. Okay, please put in something. And I said when the font starts, message visible should be.
Oh,
on.
message. Okay, I made it unchecked.
Yeah, it has to be checked. That's what the assignment said. Okay. So that now when you do a display, let's do a display.
Yeah, won't show until.
Yeah, unless, yeah, so that's why. That's what I said, make it on, okay? Let's do the clicking pictures. Let's change the color to something else. Let's do a clear. Okay, so that's the only one that's missing, right?
Yeah, just to make it
Yeah,
visible.
maximize, but again, you see, don't call me till you're satisfied because it's a small thing, I know, but you've missed a requirement.
I didn't know that was.
It is, if you open the code that I had given you where it says, there, right? It says in the check the black radio button and the visible check.
I did the black radio button.
Yeah, but
And
both things are
and the visible checkbox.
yeah, the checkbox.
I did the.
It's already visible. You have to check it, check properly,
Yeah,
right?
I misread it.
Yeah.
That's what it was.
Because it's already visible.
Yeah.
It's called message visible.
Yeah, that's what, I think I got confused by the
Confused, okay.
naming.
Yeah, that's okay. It's not a big thing, but you know what? You know what I'm trying to say then? Okay, Cindy, last name?
Or because.
O-R-D. Okay.
Okay.
Just remember. That's completed. Is it okay to put the chair? Please complete it before you call me. Give me a minute. Let me do it. I'm okay when I have a mouse.
So,
You know what? You've forgotten your accept and display buttons. You've forgotten it. You haven't set your accept and. Yeah, you forgot them because they are not highlighted, so I know. So if I do an enter, it won't work. So you forgot the last requirement, one requirement.
instead of going like big picture.
Understand what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
Yeah. Escape is working. Did you do escape?
No.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
yeah,
have
you
done one and not the other.
yeah, so you just call
Either
it
you
that.
forget or you don't
Whatever
know. Where is your
functionality you have in
properties?
there, it's like, oh, well. if
Where is the
when I
properties?
click the-
Oh, here on the left, okay.
it
See
makes
how
the
you see
picture
only
pop
where you
up,
want
and
to
I
see,
just
right?
call that, and there you go.
Where are we? What am I looking at? Oh, accept and, yeah, I think you forgot. Yep, accept button is not. See, you did the button to your cancel button, but you forgot your accept. That's the only thing. So this time again, I can't be liberal every time, guys. So when you call me, please see that everything is complete, okay? Your buttons are set, everything is set.
On IO. Then in his note, I kept spelling wrong.
It was like, it was something stupid, like you couldn't even like run it.
You didn't think of your own heading, you took my title and made it there.
Yeah, like, I don't know.
On that word, please. Yes. Show the text in the message box label in black. Okay, so the message label has a text property, right, and it has a color. So you will write those as
They're writing an
statements.
application.
Message box dot text.
And
Message
you
box
don't
dot.
realize if you set it off, like, why is your name?
Yeah, that's what it sounds.
Okay, I saw it. Can I see the flow quickly for a minute?
Yep.
Oh my God, you can look at it. That's actually great.
Just so that you know, there is a clear property with text box. You can say name text box dot clear.
Fantastic.
Okay.
Okay. So the property is called 4-color, not color. 4-color, right? The property is called 4-color. Not with the labels, only with text boxes. That's why using text boxes is another advantage. Okay. So here you can say dot.
the clear function.
I make it a string.
So in the display button, you are displaying the text, and in the radio button,
No,
you
I
are
use like-
setting the 4-color to a different color. The property is called 4-color. And you say is equal to, and you can put a constant there. As soon as you say equal to, it will make you, I think, color dot something. Okay, color is a
You
class.
could make it normal.
Okay. Makes sense? So the display, we are displaying it, and the radio buttons, event handlers are just changing the 4-color of the message.
Now I have to go.
No, the display is already displaying it, right? Remember, as soon as you say name, message, display, the message is displayed. Therefore, I said to start with, make it black. So it will come in black. Okay? It already says start in black and the image is visible. Something is visible. What was it? Checkbox. Yeah, it is visible. Yes. For the last one. Okay. What was it doing? Can we use the alt? Do you think this is coming because of resolution or it's
It's
not?
resolution, yeah.
Even if, I mean, a broader, did you make it a little height, did you increase its height by any chance? No. You see, it's too congested. I mean, you've given it just enough space to kind of fix it. Okay, is the maximize working?
It might be, because I did that because it was screwing up, I think.
Okay, what about form border style?
No, that's.
Okay, what about P? Can I do an alt P, please? Okay, that's okay. So the rest are working. So only thing that I'm kind of a little concerned with is to make it look a little more consistent with the rest of the form and more easier to read, we could have increased the height of your labels.
Yeah.
Because they're looking as if jammed packed them. You know what I'm saying? Okay, so can we go through all of them to see if all messages are coming? Okay, half price. Oh, that's missing. Yeah, missing. Come back to periodicals. With a, yeah, there's something is missing.
I don't know if that's like the.
No, it's your box is
Oh,
small.
yeah, it is, all right.
Yeah, it's missing because you didn't give enough space for your text box. Okay, so taking those two things into consideration, I'll give you a. Guys, I mean, your text boxes should be big enough to accommodate your output. Don't forget that. It's one important thing, right? Oh, so you were missing your max. Why did you, was it for a reason that you didn't do it or you forgot? Because that has nothing to do with resolution,
I remember
right?
before how for some reason it was shrinking
Yeah.
every time, so I actually left that enabled so I could expand it because otherwise.
Yeah, but now we are okay. Now
Yeah,
you're.
now I fixed it and then I forgot to
Forgot to do it?
disable again.
Okay, so this time we'll just leave it. But otherwise, everything you miss is half mark each, keep in mind, okay? And definitely output is more important. If I don't see the output clearly, It's 10% off. Okay, anybody else ready to show?
I can leave now, right?
Yes, anybody who's completed can leave. After you submit it on Blackboard, don't forget to do
Yes,
that.
yes, sorry, done.
I'm busy.
Girls,
Because she opened it.
because other people do need to concentrate, right? Yes. Button to be checked. So what property should you be setting to choose for your radio button and for your physical check? There are two controls on this form. I want this to be checked by default and this to be remote checked. I will have a copy of that as well. Just what property check property. Check property, right? So radio button was checked off and whatever this is called check boxes.
That makes more sense.
And you have to right click and go.
You can take another half hour to school. Are we done?
Your whole life is now fine.
And this needs to be finished in another 20 minutes maybe, okay?
I would have said a rule beforehand. FYI.
Where you got shot, minutes where set 5 minutes.
It's also sound, it's just 5 things.
I mean, it's life or destination, everyone does. People want something. Oh boy.
Leo repercussion.
And you don't need so many, we clear all my name, just clear my name, text box and my message. And disable my message. Yeah, but that, what was the default? The default was this, when you run the form. The default was blank, nothing. And then, oh, and these two right here, oh, right. Oh, yeah, it's got dot text. We have the whole object. That's what was happening. So don't forget your centering and, I mean, as I said, that's small things, but it does matter, right? Well, with the other ones. Okay, you go ahead and put your name and message.
Just 7 months.
Just try to change all this.
What's your last name, Lyle?
Just try to uncheck the messages.
So how many pages?
And then when you grab the group. Yes.
Try to break watching it.
It was a message.
I like it. It's a really good show.
I could try it.
And then next time.
So good.
But like, try watching it.
That's put it on back.
Did you put it on? Yeah. What is it? On the black.
Yeah, close it. God damn it.
Next time, not working, no. Sizing handles, no. For 10. For 10. Okay, so that's how it's listed in the name. Let's say display entity. It doesn't have like.
You wake up like, you have like 5 minutes after you wake up, you're like, did I do that?
lunch. We went to school.
Yes, these are quick, easy marks, guys. Quick, easy marks with 5%. They're easy. You're trying something, you're doing it, you know how to do it, and it's done.
I thought it was
The take homes will be more vigorous and more stricter, but these are just small things, right? So don't forget, here I'm being very liberal, not with take home assignments. Everything has marks. Yes. You're already writing that. You're already saying I'm tweaking. So you don't have to say yes. You're already doing it. So you're saying makes a big, okay. So when you're, what does it say? Switch the icon. The small picture should be good. So the big picture should be false, and the small should be. Right? You've already set their images.
Yeah.
Right? You already have to set their
Where
images.
did you put the zip?
Here you are setting the images in your picture boxes right at design time.
Oh, yeah.
All you have to do is make one visible and the other invisible, right?
Good thing I didn't order.
So what we did today, I'll put it on Blackboard, but it is already on GitHub, guys. Remember that. So even if I forget,
Is it like over like do like a week after?
yeah, something like that. It's just a bigger project. I mean, from scratch, where I'm looking at code, looking at conventions to be used, everything. It just takes me more time to do it, and therefore it has more marks.
When is the
I'm thinking maybe I should give you one before the break and then one after, and then make up maybe 4 or 5 in classes. So that will add up to 60. That's my idea. Maybe we'll end up only doing in classes if it works, right? But the in classes are different from take home in their weightage, in their scrutiny. Right here, I don't bother a lot. I'm not even seeing your code. I know it works. But as long as when you start using variables and doing more calculations, definitely I want to see the code. Right? So there is where I go. Yeah, but I usually give a week for it. So I'm hoping I can do one before the break. But if I can do 3 or 4 in classes, I have this. It's the same thing. Okay, that's how they will work. Yes, Kevin?
yeah, pretty much, but they're not here yet.
Yeah, but if you click it, it goes to the smaller end of the you switch the image. So basically, not the image. The image you've already set, right? In your design, you've already
Yeah,
set the
maybe
image.
it's, and then
So this is your big picture box. You set the image right here.
Why should you have like a bad immune system or something?
You've set
I,
this.
yeah, she gets like
And
10 fold.
there are 2.
Yeah.
And the small one.
I haven't got
so
the same
you can only
so
choose it from
Last,
here.
last summer, but my dad had like a mild cold.
You're also setting
And then I
image.
got it and it
Right?
was
Okay, so both images are same.
like
Now what
really,
you
really
want to do
big.
in your form, what does it say? Switch the icon, the small picture should appear. So make the small picture box visible and
They're
make the
like,
big
you're not,
one.
yeah, they're like, you're not
That's
going
what
to
you
drive.
do, right?
I'm
Yeah,
surprised they
kinda
didn't
like-
send me home, but.
Kind of funny.
What picture come back to its default state, how you started. So when you started, what was it? It had the black radio button was on, the visible message was on, those two should be on, and the name should be clear, message should be clear, and your label where you're showing the message should also be. Oh, yeah, only then the message appears. No? That's the checkbox, right? You exactly did this today when we were showing the picture. Now you're just, it's a message thing. Oh, so I have put up the first 2 lessons. I'll put up the third one also. Yes, Kevin?
You don't want us to use restart right one here.
No, try to figure out it the other way. They're just small, like, they're easy, right? So clear your text box, name text box, clear your message text box, clear your label, the output label, and then the black radio button and the check visible should be set to checked. That's how you started, right? That's how you started. This is lesson 3 for you, right? We did promotions. Done? Give me a minute now. Please double check. If I come, you've already called me 4 or 5 times. If I come now, you're getting the marks you are. Okay? Sure? Because I've already done quite a bit with you.
How do I set the amount like hotkeys?
I've already done it. How many times am I supposed to do it in class and then tell you individually?
I was not in the last one.
We just did it today also. Hotkeys, keyboard access keys, right?
Okay.
And yeah. And if you were not in class, then you listen to my lectures and then do it, okay? I mean,